Alright, so today's episode is called Beyond the Dinosaur Kingdom. So it's the southern hemisphere winter, and that's why I'm all wrapped up with a coat and a high neck shirt. It's chilly. It's been 4 degrees outside yesterday. I don't know what it is now. It's probably sitting 10, 12 degrees. Okay, so let's get on with this little video about the time before the dinosaurs. So dinosaurs lived during what is called the Mesozoic Era. So that started about 230 million years ago and ended about 66 million years ago when an asteroid hit the planet and killed the dinosaurs. But scientists, Earth scientists in particular, believe that life dates back to at least 3.6 billion years. And some even think it goes further back than that, 4.2 billion years. There's some evidence to suggest that, although that's in dispute. But I think most of them do agree that 3.6 billion years is kind of where life kicked off. So when you look at the period, the era, the Mesozoic, during which dinosaurs lived, from about 231 million years ago to 66 million years ago, and you relate that back to the sweep of geological time and the grand sweep of life, 3.6 billion years, maybe 4.2 billion years, the Mesozoic era is actually a very short time period. So it would be remiss of us here at the Dinosaur not to talk about the evolution of life and that 3.6 billion year sweep of Earth history. All right, so let's dive in and talk a little bit more about all of that. So seeing we're here, please like, please subscribe, please share, and hit that notification button. You know, an asteroid hit the planet 66 million years ago. So pretend that like button is an asteroid hitting the Earth. Make sure you hit it. It's good for me, it's good for the algorithm, but more importantly, it's good for you because you're going to learn so much about dinosaurs while you're here at the Dinosaur. All right, let's crack on. Let's dive right in. So, as we've already said, life has been around for at least 3.6 billion years. But there is evidence to suggest that it stretches back 4.2 billion years. And some scientists, of course, dispute this date, but most are in agreement that 3.6 billion years is the year dot. But that's an exceptionally long time period. And it's very difficult. Geologists just glibly talk about all these time periods, and we'll make another video about that. They glibly talk about 3.6 billion years, 4.5 billion years, 300 million years. But even they, myself included, can't actually wrap our heads around how long some of these time periods were. There is a term that geologists have coined. It's called deep time. So in comparison to those long time scales, those time frames, dinosaurs arrived very late in the day, showing up around 230 million years ago and then going extinct when an asteroid hit the planet 66 million years ago. Dinosaurs lived during what is known as the Mesozoic Era, which when seen in the context of the entire history of life comprises a very small part of that immense 3.6 billion year sweep of time. But you will have to agree that it would be remiss of us not to look at this amazing story of how life evolved and how tiny organisms changed the atmosphere to make a world that we could inhabit. And that's an amazing story which we're going to cover here at the Dinosaur. So those single-cell bacteria, the cyanobacteria, evolved into more complex organisms until some 600 million years ago, 3 broad types of organisms had evolved. The shelled animals like clams and sea snails, radially symmetrical creatures like sea urchins and starfish, and elongated creatures with segmented bodies such as shrimps and lobsters. That's 600 million years ago. So these amazing creatures lived on our planet way before the dinosaurs. So some of our favorite creatures are the trilobites that lived during the Cambrian and thereafter, which are related to lobsters, which crawled around on the ocean floor, hoovering up anything that was edible. There were thousands, tens of thousands of these things on the oceans, and all sorts of forms and sizes. If you become a geologist and go and study paleontology, you'll become very intimately involved with trilobites. And maybe that's the topic for another video. So the Cambrian stretched from 541 million years to 485 million years ago. And another wonderful creature is the horseshoe crab, which lived in the oceans 400 million years ago and filtered out food just like the trilobites, just as their descendants do to this day. So horseshoe crabs are living fossils. They find them in the geological record and they still find them in the oceans to this day. So that's quite an amazing thing. I wish I could get a live horseshoe crab, but I'm not very fond of keeping animals in captivity. But it would just be lovely to have one to show you. And then jawless fish patrol the oceans during the Ordovician, the Silurian and the Devonian periods, at a time when life was just scrabbling for a toehold on land. And then later during the Permian, creatures called therapsids dominated the land, with monsters such as gorgonopsians being the apex predators of the day, just as T-Rex became the apex predator of the Cretaceous millions of years later. So this is by no means a comprehensive list of all the creatures that lived back in the day. What we're just trying to do is give a few examples there of the kind of creatures that evolved from the Cambrian all the way through to the Permian and then ultimately the dinosaurs and then through to being dominated by their mammals, or the world being dominated by the mammals. And that's another story which I'm not getting into here. But we don't want to get ahead of ourselves here. What is for certain is that the story is so vast, so complex, and so amazing that it's going to take much more than this introduction to tell it all. But that's our aim at the Dino Zone, to tell the story of Earth and life. Obviously we're focusing on dinosaurs, but we're going to pull the golden threads of the story into a larger whole, with dinosaurs at the center to fire their imaginations and to keep you totally interested in this grand story. So that's a brief introduction of where we're going to go with the Dino Zone and what we hope to do, and I'm going to leave it there. Alright, so please like this video, please share this video, please subscribe to this video, and please leave your comments below, because I want to know what floats your boat, what you'd like to hear about, what stories you'd like me to tell, and what you'd like me to focus upon. Alright, so we'll see you on the next one. Thank you for your time.